That was the question.
Okay, we're recording, but I don't have to put it up on YouTube if it gets too political.
Well, it's not about that. It's more of like, what would your projections be for art shows for the next year? And I
I
think
don't
it's
think
very
it
difficult to
I don't
know
think
because
it's
we
going
don't,
to affect art shows.
but you don't know what measures will be in place or not. So,
I think it might affect mine since they tend to be younger college student types that or retirees that are buying for their grandkids.
oh, right. Yeah, like if they lose their social security, they're not going to be buying anything.
Well, that's another issue.
Not gonna happen.
So
Uh,
So,
Very, right now, I will not pass anything that cannot happen or because that's wishful thinking. I don't,
right.
I'll take that bet.
you know, uh, I don't, you know, it's a flip of the coin right now for anything.
I think
I
Oscar's right.
I really don't know what to expect. I just don't know. I just trying to. One of the things that I learned when I was working with David Kliske is that when you see something coming, you need to try to get ahead of the game and prepare for the worst. And I can, the metal press is nothing I can do about it. I don't know if I should order paper ahead of time, but I think it's stupid to do it also. The inks are made for the printer.
Then you
They're
have to
made
think of
in,
where, then Oscar, you have to think about where are those products made? Are you going to
yeah,
have
that's
to
the
end up
other
paying
thing that I'm
more?
thinking.
Right.
You know, how much more it's going to cost? Do I need to raise my prices? Because
Hmm.
I don't want to be in the middle of the season and have to raise prices in the middle of the season.
Right.
Uh, those are things that I'm thinking right now. I already raised the price for the metal prints because I'm expecting the worst. Uh, I was just doing the price tags today. Um, the other thing that I got friends that said that the one that look as a Republican and the office, they always tend to do good, and they do bad when the Democrats are in. But I think there's more. If I go since the years from Bush to now, every time Bush leaves and the Democrat comes in, it's because something bad happened when the Democrat took over. And I think it's the first time that I see the opposite happening, technically speaking, because we got the inflation so out of control that probably was the reason why he won. But I'm just concerned, to be honest with you, because if he does half of the thing that he's saying, we can be in a depression in year two.
How many people here are on the ACA?
I am. So, and what happened if they take Medicare out? Because they're talking about taking Medicare out.
Not
They're
gonna
talking about
happen.
you keep saying that, but they've been talking about that for years, and
I'll
now they
take
can do
bets.
it.
Yeah, and it's never happened.
So, excuse me, Barry, if I may.
Sure.
Um, when the Jews were ghettoized and they were made to live in certain neighborhoods,
Yeah.
they thought this is as bad as it's going to get. They couldn't imagine that it would get worse.
Now you're
Sorry.
talking about a different subject. On that
No,
subject, it could get way worse.
it's it's the same subject. It's, a bunch of things in motion, and we all hope they won't happen. I am worried about losing the ACA. And it's not like there's other options. uh, I think it's much easier to get rid of things than to bring in new policies. That's much more complex because you have to have a plan. And so I am concerned about next year. My shows really don't start until the spring, so a lot will happen between now and then. And I think I'm just going to be more prudent, not have as much stock. Already, I've let my stock go down. I have plenty to choose from, because you don't want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If you don't have stock, you can't sell it. But I really didn't need to have as much as I did. And, it's this big question mark. But they do promise certain things, which I do think um, can lead to a major depression. And then I don't know that people will want to buy art even if they have the money.
I already think we went through our worst possible crisis ever
Are
for
you
our
kidding?
industry.
You mean COVID?
No,
Oh,
the housing bubble of 2007 and 8.
what? So, mm,
I don't think that was that bad, to be honest with you.
Are you kidding?
Yep,
Were you
it wasn't
were
that
you
bad.
selling artwork then?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I had no income.
it got bad for me more like a couple of years after that when it was, when it first happened, like 2008, I still had a very good year. Um, but it more like 2011, like that aftermath when people were trying to dig themselves out. Um,
Well, it lasted a long time
right, as
for
these
some
things
of us,
do. Yep.
like me.
Well, I was a renter, so I mean, I knew what was going on, but I didn't personally experience it. So
Even this year that everybody's complaining it's been horrible, I still have a decent year. I
I have
I
too. I've had a very good year, and
I
it's not
really
over
can.
yet.
It's been really up and down dramatically, but I still have
Mm,
a good year. I cannot
yeah,
complain.
right.
You know,
The
Well, one
problem
thing.
is when you move, if you move, or if you have to rent, those
Mhm.
those that's astronomically high.
well, that's true with any situation. Moving is one of the biggest expenses that you
Mhm.
can involve, but sometimes you have to move because you don't have no prospers in the way you are.
Right. I mean, I moved um in 2021, and I taught a lot of workshops right before I moved. So, but I don't know. I mean, it seems really terrible. We can't know. Um, and I think there's a lot to be worried about.
It's interesting that everyone was saying, election year, blah, blah, blah. And now, granted, we've only been doing shows for 3 years, but we did Arlington this year, didn't sell a thing. We sold a $175 print. Spoleto was a great show, and St. James was a great show. And that's the only 3 shows we did. And, you know, we were really surprised at how well those 2 out of the 3 shows we did. But we deliberately backed off on applying to shows. Like we were waitlisted for um, Port Clinton, and then now we have a little um, we have a little help. So Marianne works part time for Hyatt, and so we stay in Hyatt hotels, $79 a night.
Mm.
So that's a huge expense savings for
That
us.
is. That is.
I mean, it's just a miracle that we are able to do that. But when we thought about gas and everything, and going up to Illinois from Charleston is a 2-day trip, and so we just decided, we're just going to kind of hang back and see what happens. We're praying that 25 will be a good show season. But like you said, we really don't know.
Yeah.
If
The thing is, you
if
said
the
you did
go
three
ahead,
shows, right? You said you did
yeah,
three and two were good. So that's the
yep,
thing. It's like I did 6 shows and 3 were really good, right? So
right,
should I just do 3 shows? But sometimes you don't know,
It's always
right?
like
exactly,
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's always
Now,
like that.
yeah, and so what we decided to do is, we're going to apply to about 20 different shows, and if we can do, 5, 8 shows, of the ones that we want to do. We're going back to Spoleto. We're going back to St. James. So those are two we know we're in. We you know, it'd be nice to go to Fort Worth. It'd be nice to go to. We're going to try to apply to Cherokee Triangle, Louisville, because that's the week before the Derby, and we've heard that was well. We've had people who came by and visited Marianne. Now Marianne did some horses, and they said, "Oh, you got to go to Cherokee Triangle. You just, so it's like we'll be there. We'll look for you. Blah blah blah. They didn't. We had one couple that bought, an original, but it is a numbers game. You just don't know.
And then sometimes you just have to take risks, calculated risks anyway, and so it's really, I feel like I assess every single year what I'm going to do. But this year or the future is different. So, we just don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, I really am hopeful, if gas, if gasoline drops, that's a great.
Gasoline is so cheap adjusted for inflation. I mean,
right now it is, yes.
It's not even $3 here in Santa Fe. And what I'm worried about is losing my health insurance, the ACA. And it's going to be another year before Eric is finished with school. And if he gets a job, or when he gets a job, it's possible we could have health insurance through that job. But, right now we both have ACA. And I remember life before that.
Yeah, and that could be $1,000 in insurance a month.
Or even more. Yeah. Depending
more.
on your state, it could be more.
Well,
yeah.
That's
hurry up
something
and turn 65.
Yeah, but that might
that's
go away
another thing
too.
that Barry, I don't want to get into the politics, but they're also talking about cutting Medicare.
Right.
And Trump said he's not going to do it.
Oh, well, then, yeah, you better watch out if he says he's not going to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
that's when you really need to watch out.
Right. So
Medicare's gone, Social Security's gone. And honestly, there's nothing we can really do about it. I mean, like I put online, it's like the weather at a show. You can't do anything other than just sit there and write it out and make your best guess as what's going to happen.
well, we can also make sure we contact our state representative. We have to work through the states, so anyway, that's a different conversation for another place. But
what do you do if you live in Kansas, where the state's as bad as the federal government is going to be?
Right.
You have to move.
Well, you're going to move to Spain, Europe.
Not Hungary.
I'm being flippant, but
I mean, the groups routinely in Kansas, groups routinely do surveys of what the people in Kansas want. I mean, we actually put it to a vote on abortion, and the people overwhelmingly said we want legalized abortion in Kansas. And yet every legislative session, they come in and try and do away with it. They don't care. They have their agenda, and that's what they're going to do. And they don't really care about what the people want, think, feel.
how come those people get reelected time after time after time?
Right. That's the question.
And not the people that you're talking about that should be in office, that'll do something about it.
Gerrymandering.
Well, in Kansas, if you have an R behind your name, it's pretty much a given you're going to get elected.
But you're telling me most people wanted something else, something more to the left.
It doesn't matter.
No, they
Barry,
divided.
We don't live in that environment anymore. It's minority rules.
Right.
It's been like that, and I keep, and that there's a lot of things that I didn't even talk about it because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And I find out they're talking about it's just talking to the wall. Right now in Facebook, David Wood, and I don't even. It's like talking to the wall. People think that you're stupid. that you don't know what you're talking about. And then when shit happens, then they come and say, "Oh, I didn't know that." It's like I've been trying to tell you that for months, but you don't listen.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So
I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes. I have a customer coming over, and you know, one of the things as artists that I think is important is, you know, and my customers, they're mostly kind of are on the same wavelength, but I'm having an open studio in a couple of weeks, and so I just want to create a warm, welcoming environment. And like, we all know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but I just want to just create this nice, positive environment. And, you know, this customer who she's come a few times, I'm making something for her, and she told me she loves the experience, and it's just this nice thing in her day. And so, I think, you know, all we can do is what we can control, right? And so, anyway, I'm telling myself this too, you know, to just practice staying in a certain part of my brain so I can, you know, still conduct business and not be such a downer for people, because we know what's happening.
I understand that when you're in the show of selling, I don't think about it. But this week I went to do installations, and that's the only thing that people in here are thinking about it. Like, what else is coming? So we see what happens, but try to stay positive. The only thing you can do. What shows you have? But we see what happens. I just don't plan to spend any money next year. Like, I'm only going to buy the things that I need.
Yeah.
What if you do really well and it doesn't seem like anything's that much different and prices start coming down?
Financially, I
You
don't think
know,
financial is one thing, but it's I still have to worry about other things, Barry.
prices aren't coming back down. There's no way prices are going to come back down.
I know. I'm
But
just I refuse to be negative though.
Well, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard artists
I am Mr. Negative.
have said, you know, people with money will always spend money. They're not worried about it, you know. So I think we hang on to that and just say thank you, Lord, you know, for bringing those kind of folks to our shows. And you know, let me tell you, the first 2 years we did. So let's see, our last show, St. James. St. James this year was Marianne's 15th show in 3 years, and literally the first, no, I would say one out of the first 12 shows, 10 shows, I'll say 10 shows. We didn't sell a damn thing. But we said, okay, we'll just keep trying. We'll find our people. And that was a big thing, trying to find our people. And, you know, eventually we did. But, Court, did you say it's a numbers game? It is a numbers game.
But you know what right now what's coming in is like this is from how long I've been doing shows. It used to be every show, even if you have low end items, you will make a decent chunk of money. Now everybody that's doing well has big ticket items. Like, they're hoping to sell 1 or 3 pieces, and then the show is done. But the people like said Barry, for example, that doesn't have nothing over $1,000 in his booth, it's really hard to make the same amount of money that you.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Because
and before that was not an issue. I only know a very few products that put in the ridiculous amount of numbers that I see put in, and I only know one that does on a regular basis. Everybody else doesn't, you know, and that's how it is, you know. But I just don't want to tell you to me, when I do really, really well, is when I'm selling equal ratio of big pieces and small pieces. And that only happens in very, very few shows. So,
Yep.
I'm becoming like I tried to tell that to another friend that I'm becoming like a painter where you're waiting for that person to come and drop $3,000-4,000 in a photograph. And then, or you are begging just to make the booth feedback.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feeling. And that might be the situation we all are. And how many of those big people with a lot of money before they run out of wall space? And they start coming to the show, they kind of buy more artwork. So
Yeah.
it's a I believe that, I know people with money always going to spend, will have the money, they're not going to worry about money.
Okay.
But at certain point, you have to start thinking about how things are going to get, how much more we can squeeze out of the sponge. So, but I agree, we have to stay positive. But I just trying to figure out if I should spend time printing small prints or spend time printing bigger prints.
I got a question for you guys.
Mm.
We were at Arlington, Virginia this year, and we sold a print, $175. Boom, that was it. But it was interesting. I ran into an artist, and he said he's been doing art shows for 30 plus years, and his outlook on doing shows is that he paints what the people want. He doesn't do anything, because I asked him, I said, well, you don't do anything that inspires you just to, go out there and just, he says, no, I paint what the people want. People want this. And basically,
And
what
that's what's wrong with our industry.
That's
It's
what
not
I
about
thought.
artwork. It's not about having a concept and making something. Look at that. You know what? If I had heard that when I was 30 years old, I would have done anything but this. To me, that I hate that more
Art
than
shows,
anything.
I've always thought art shows were about the money, not about the art.
Well, then you're part of the problem too. That's you know what? That's what keeps us down. That's what keeps us being second rate. It wasn't like that. At one time it was all museum quality artists. That's pretty much before most of you were born.
Well,
Unfortunately, I'm too old.
How old are you, Court? How old are
I
you, Court?
remember that.
How old are you, Court?
I'm 67.
Okay. I'm 63. My wife is 68. Now Marianne taught art for 25 years. And the thing about her is that she will only paint what inspires her, really. Because it's all abstract. There's really nothing there. I mean, she did draw out horses to do horses, but those were still abstract. But the amazing thing is that this guy, that's exactly what he said. He says, you know what? I'm here to make money. I'm not here to do anything, But then, I thought, I don't see a reward in that. When Barry, when you create a piece of art with your hands, or Oscar, when you take your camera and you line up just the right sweet shot because your eye sees something that only you could see through the lens.
And then
That's
you think
art.
you can sell 1 million copies of it.
Well, yeah. but it drives you to do that because you're an artist. You're
you're Ansel Adams.
I had one picture that was 20%
my favorite
of every show I did for over 10 years.
Say that again?
I had one picture that was 20% of every show I did for over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. How much are those pieces worth now?
Nothing. I used to sell them for $3.
It's amazing. Isn't it amazing? Like
3 for $10.
When I look at some painting that's going out for $5,000-6,000, when in 10 or 20 years, when they die, when they pass away, and their
Look
kids
on eBay.
They're gonna put it. No, they're gonna put it on out in the yard and sell it for $10 as a yard sale.
Right, or sell it on eBay for $10.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
whatever.
But
I-
that's really, and of course, today what people think are art, today, I'm sure we've all seen the guy who jumps on the trampoline with the black magic marker, and he takes the magic marker and he just scrolls on the white wall. Have you guys seen that one?
Fortunately,
you
No,
didn't.
not.
but I see that. I know what you're saying. I see a couple of people doing something similar. But this is the thing that I was going to tell you. You, the perfect situation will be to make something that you like, that you're passionate about it,
Yep.
and it sells. When you hit that spot, that's when you're doing really good. But I'm going to tell you, the people that just do work just to sell most of the time, it's just you always chasing the dollar. You always changing your style, and those are the person that doesn't get to some shows, and at least right now they don't get into the same shows consistently or the good shows because they don't have, they're always changing their style and not keeping what they're doing, and you have to be careful with that. That's my opinion. And some people, the serious collector, when that you don't have your passion behind the piece, that they can tell that you BS in them, and they're not going to, at least that's what I think. But
It's interesting. Yeah, I completely agree with that. We did a show in Florida, and now granted, we do enhanced canvas prints, right? And they're limited edition, signed, numbered, and so we're selling them for $2,200, and that's like for a 3x4 or a 2x4. But we saw several people in several Florida shows, and actually there's one person that we've seen like twice in a Florida show, in two different Florida shows, and they were selling what was clearly canvas prints that were enhanced as originals. And it's like, and the reason why we could tell is because they had these two pelicans, and they were side by side, but they were reversed image. They were identical. And it was like Marion, she pointed it out to me. She said, I can't believe this. Look at this thing. And we looked at it, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's just a canvas print. It has there's, and of course you got all those, and my gosh, the buy sell guys those guys running rampant.
I was next to an artist doing something similar. She was pulling an image into Photoshop, doing some painterly effects on it, then printing it out and putting some brush strokes on it, printing it out on canvas. And, I got to tell you, I don't know a whole lot of painters that paint intricate detail that goes all the way around the side to the back of the stretcher.
Right.
And, and I could tell, and I've dealt in the printing industry for a long time. I can tell stuff that's been printed in a photo lab. And that's what this was. And she was selling it as original paintings.
Yeah. Yeah. It's now when Marianne paints, anytime she paints, she uses heavy body acrylic with a palette knife, and she paints the sides, and I mean, it's thick as could be, and it's thick as mud. But those are original, but we clearly, and it's interesting because when we were in Arlington this year, I can't remember the woman who was with Howard Allen. She was the one who suggested us to start doing
Don't bring her up. Thank
Say
you.
again? Yeah, I don't
bring her up.
No, okay. But that was a really I mean, that was helpful to us. And so, you know, and she was very helpful to us when we first started out anyway. So, and then when we went to Spoleto, we sold several of them. So that was really kind of her to give us that pointer.
I only want to say this. Just yesterday, I did installation for Anchor Counters. They just remodeled their office. It's a company that's $1 million worth it. Everything in the office that they bought for artwork for the wall, nothing was more than $500. And they got a canvas photograph in black and white, 48 by 72. And she told me she only paid $500. She has stuff from Home Goods. She had a bunch of things that she told me it will be nice to buy original artwork, but it's not in the budget. So and every time I see people doing painters doing reproduction, because some of the stuff that she had in there, it looks, quite honest, amazing.
So Oscar, another phrase for what she's saying is that she has no respect for things that are made by hand, that things are made by human beings.
Yeah.
Direct. She has no, and that says something about her sophistication and her class and her knowledge and her culture. They don't have it. And that could go back to how it's taught in school, which it's not anymore. So
it's and in the last 2 weeks, most of the customers call me and ask me, "Hey, Oscar, my stuff is no fine art. Can you still hang it?" And I said, like, "Sure, I don't care." But I used to joke about it, but it's a norm now. Like, I see at least 2 jobs or 3 jobs a week. They start from Home Goods, from a furniture store, nothing expensive. Nothing expensive. It makes you wonder if that's the trend going on, because I don't know if people don't, because they start looking really good, to be honest with you. And they're all made in China.
Where they don't get paid a whole lot.
Yeah. Actually, I was yesterday, my first client, she's an investor from China. And she was saying that the biggest difference is labor, cost of labor.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper to do something over there than over here, manufacturer-wise. Even that if they raise the tariff, it still will be more profitable to do it over there than over here.
Well, eventually, and it's taken a lot longer than we thought, eventually labor prices across the world will even out. Excuse me. So that, because if you're a consumer, I know, Court. If you're a consumer in China, if you work, I mean, most of the people lived in rural areas and they moved into the city to get these jobs, much like what happened here. So you start working and suddenly you have a nice apartment because you can afford it based on, what you take in. And a nice car. Pretty soon you want a nicer car and you want a nicer apartment. And then you have to get paid more money for that. So that's how it kind of evens out.
Yeah, that was another conversation I had with a client on Sunday.
But it hasn't happened. That was called NAFTA, those trade agreements and the Pacific Trade Agreement. Clinton, that's why Clinton pushed all that. When was that? 20, 30 years ago?
1992.
Okay, so 30 years ago, that's when that was pushed, and nothing's happened. It hasn't happened. It hasn't worked. In fact, if they make a little more money in China, they move it to Vietnam or they move it to another country where labor's cheap. That's what happens.
Yeah, because any labor over here is going to be at least $15 in any place, or you're going to be working in federal minimum wage, and nobody can live in that. So,
Court, what you were shaking your head. I want to hear what you have to say.
Oh, you're basing all of your assumptions on nicer cars and more money on our culture in the United States. And that culture is different. The culture is different in China.
I'm basing it on human nature. I'm basing it on human nature. And I think when you go from nothing to something, that's great, but eventually you want more. That's consumerism. That's free market enterprise. That's what happens. It might take 100 years, 100 more years, or it might never happen. You could be totally right. So do we let the Chinese make everything and then complain about how crummy the product is?
well, the products
Well, I mean,
I saw it a few
times. I saw it a few times at Target.
Yeah.
There would be when he started slapping the tariffs on China, we'd get a product in and the outside of the box would say made in Vietnam all over it. And you open it up and the products on the inside didn't say made in Vietnam because they were shipping the stuff to Vietnam and packaging it in Vietnam and shipping it out of Vietnam to get around the tariffs.
Or assembling it in Vietnam, sending the parts to Vietnam and then putting it together.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see how these evolve. But the one thing that caught my attention was on Saturday, I went to pick up 50-pound hooks, cost me $16. Went on back on Sunday, buy the same package of hook, and cost me $18.
You told me 17.
Well, it's $18. I saw the receipt today again.
Okay.
So
$2 more.
It's they really started, and it's kind of worrying.
Now we're talking about what really caused inflation in this country in the last year. When people started complaining about the minimum wage, well, after COVID, they couldn't hire anybody, so they had to raise income, raise what they were paying people for at McDonald's and all those places. So now they're getting paid, but the anticipation of it, they raised their rates, their costs in anticipation of it happening. And then when it did happen, they raised it again. So they double dipped.
Yeah, they always do that.
It's happening. It's happening again. It isn't, and it isn't like, okay, we're paying $1 more. So now we're going to charge $10 more.
Larry Berman.
Or $100 more.
The other thing that being cynical is that they can be raising the prices, and when he gets to office, they drop the prices just to making him look good. So,
or they have a sale. Hey,
yeah.
We have a sale. You can see this on TV. We're having a sale, and this is the price.
So
and I'm going, what happens. That's the price it was a year ago.
That's what happens, and you can, I follow the Black Fridays from Home Depot and Lowe's because I need to restock the miscellaneous stuff that I use every year.
Yeah.
Like drill bits, things like that. That's when I buy them. And the sales price now was the regular price from last year. And they put like the Ryobi, they used to give you 2 4-amp batteries. Now they give you a 4-amp battery and a 2-amp battery for the same price of the last year 2 4-amps. So I don't know. We'll see. I was just asking to see what model I'm going to pick and choose and see what happens. And it's like wait and see game. I'm hoping for the best, but I don't know what's going to happen. And I know I just keeping it on money wise. I don't know what's going to happen with Social Security. I don't know what's going to happen with Medicare. I don't know what's going to happen with the ACA. And I don't know how people don't know about anchor babies. And I don't know how people don't understand that the harassment is going to start like left and right with no stopping.
What's an anchor baby?
Anchor baby is the
Born
when
in
it,
this country, but
Very
the parents can still be sent back.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I know. That's scary. That's ridiculous, especially the guy they put in charge.
because those anchor babies, even if you're born, according to what Lacey Graham is saying, if you're an anchor baby, like your parents are immigrants, illegal immigrants, and you got born in here, they can remove your citizenship, even if you was born. That they're going to try to pass legislation for doing that. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it,
They should
but
send
that's what they're talking about.
47's wife back.
Ask me that again, Larry.
Never mind.
So that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, that was pathetic. Separating kids from their parents when they came to the border, that's
Mhm.
unconscionable.
Well,
And
it
that's
doesn't matter.
and the
That's
guy that created that program is the guy that he tapped to run to get rid of the immigrants. So
Right.
we'll see.
So we
Well,
see. But they,
they're not going to cooperate with them. They're not going to go looking for people. The LAPD has a new chief, and that was part of his, I don't know, first statements about his,
Yeah. And he's already threatening that if they don't obey the law he said, well, just get out of the way or we'll prosecute you if you disobey the law, like he's the law.
well, the law is the LAPD in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't matter.
They're not cooperating with ICE on that.
In an authoritarian government, federal government, they don't care.
Well, as somebody else suggested, Trump says if the education department in California doesn't cooperate with national standards and all this, they're not going to send them the money for it. But California sends more money out to the federal government than we take in. So it was suggested that California just hold back the part that they need and don't worry about the other.
it's going to be interesting.
Well,
Pay out more in federal funds than they receive.
listen, there's a possibility that keeping the immigrant population out of this country is going to be devastating for the economy because they're the ones that are willing to do the work in the fields,
Well,
that Americans, citizens aren't willing to do.
well, construction industry too is almost all Latin American immigrants, Irish immigrants too in the northeast of the country, and not all of those are legal or should be working. They're here. They came over on tourist visas or student visas, and they just got a job. So, and I guess a local law just got passed, so our county cities can deal directly with Mexico on border issues. Before we haven't been able to because it's an international situation. So, President of Mexico is in on the whole thing too to get some of the border issues solved. So I don't know if those will be shut down by the new administration.
The things like the border is pretty secure, and there's no way to shut down the border 100%. That's not possible. no, and then, and quite honest with you, what is going to stop anybody of flying to Canada and then
Cross that way.
cross that way,
It's so hard to get in.
through Canada?
Yeah.
Actually, believe it or not, you get more crossing illegally from Canada than from the southern border.
Yeah, I believe that.
And the biggest problem with immigration, it's never been about the crossing. It's the people that come here legally and their visa expire and they stay near, or permanent resident forget to renew their resident card and things like that. It's most of the time it's just human error. So I don't know. We see what happens. I got it's not just it's 4 o'clock only.
No, 5 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Oh,
I guess
Your Central Time.
I'm going to have to use my hand truck and go out there and try to get those boxes in, because that FedEx driver is never going to come back today.
Get one of your girlfriends to bring them in.
I should.
Or one at a time. One Red Bull at a time.
Well, there's 2 boxes each with 3 cases of Red Bull.
You trying to kill yourself?
They're fucking heavy.
that's not heavy.
Are you trying to kill yourself? That stuff's horrible for you.
No, Diet Red Bull, it's got the same caffeine as a cup of coffee.
That
It's the
stuff will
mind.
kill you.
There's other things in it.
Yeah.
I deliver that crap all the time. People that water, 40 pounds of dog food. I mean, it's just, yeah. Nobody wants to go shopping anymore, Larry.
Well,
Go
no,
to the grocery
I
store.
don't either.
They don't.
I want it all delivered to my door.
I don't blame
They
you.
don't carry it at my Sam's Club anymore.
I got you. Yeah, it's funny. You find something really good at Sam's and like, okay, we're going to buy this. Next week, it's gone. What happened to it? We don't carry it anymore. Like, well, what the hell is wrong with you people?
Yeah, 2 of the things they did away with, they brought back. I wish they'd bring this back.
Supply chain.
No, you know what it's called? You have to go to Costco. Those things,
Yeah, there you go.
Even Costco, when they run out of things.
No, but Costco is seasonal.
Yeah,
there's
but
going to be
Costco-
back.
Yeah.
Sam's Club is 20 minutes from my house. Costco is almost an hour.
Well,
Well,
give
it's
it
just
give
an
it a
hour.
week.
Just go to order it online. It's no
Give
big
it a
deal.
week.
It's the
They'll-
same thing. They
there'll be one right
ship
next
it the
door.
same way, and the driver's going to leave it out by the curb.
So just put a big sign telling that you're in a wheelchair to please put it.
I mean, I for 35 years I've lived here, and the instructions have always been leave it on the front porch.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You bring something up, because I never had a problem with deliveries until this last year, when seemingly they don't know where to put it. Except, well, the UPS driver does, because I gave him a hard time. I made sure that he knew who I was and where to deliver it.
Right.
But FedEx, forget about it. They're horrible.
No,
Well, let me tell you.
With FedEx, is you don't get the same driver all the time. It's a
That's
different
right.
person.
Well, there's
all the time.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well, we're
it's
so
FedEx
shorthanded.
Ground, not regular FedEx. Regular FedEx, I know the same driver has been coming here for over 25 years.
Yeah, that you can count on that, because that's the career driver.
But FedEx Ground is different.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I've been delivering mail for 28 years, and I've never seen it so bad. What used to be,
Actually, I don't even know who delivered. It was FedEx Ground, but FedEx Ground came earlier today with something that I ordered from B&H. So they had something on 2 different trucks.
Not surprised.
That talk about a waste.
So,
Well,
mail
lot of-
guy.
Yes, I am the mail guy.
When they got rid of all those high-speed sorting machines, weren't they supposed to replace them with better, faster,
No, they
newer
couldn't
ones?
replace them. They threw the parts in the dumpster.
That's right. And
So
he's
what
still in
happened
charge.
so what happened was so it's like here in South Carolina, we used to have a processing plant in North Charleston, and we still do. We still run mail, but if I'm if I mail a letter from Charleston, South Carolina, and I want it to go to Columbia, which is just in the upstate, it used to take 1 day
Yeah.
because the mail would go straight to Columbia, and then they would sort it in Columbia and deliver it in Columbia. Literally 1 day, 2 days tops. But now it goes to Jacksonville, Florida, or Greensboro, North Carolina to be processed. So they truck it way out of the range of where it should be. And literally what used to take, so first class mail used to be 2 to 4 business days. Now it's 7 to 10 business days because our priority is no longer mail. It's no longer priority mail. It's Amazon. We are Amazon surrogates. And that is the priority of the United States Postal Service.
Well, that's because you don't live in an area where Amazon has delivery.
Oh, yes, I do. Oh my gosh. We have 2 Amazon hubs right here in Charleston.
Yeah, but don't they have their own drivers delivering, not the post office?
Oh yeah, they do. But if you notice, anytime you order something from Amazon, it will. So when Amazon does like next day, it'll be delivered tomorrow. That's an Amazon driver. But we deliver we deliver everything that is over 30 pounds. Amazon will not deliver anything over 30 pounds. So if you, if you order a case of water or that Red Bull through Amazon, we deliver it because they won't deliver that heavy weight. So, and let me tell you, we make $1 on a package. I don't know what we make, but it's just been stupid. I'm glad I only have 2 more years before I leave this stupid job. 2 years, I retire, buddy. Yeah,
Well,
it's just.
I like using Amazon and I like getting it at my door.
I like it too.
Sorry.
I Amazon or Walmart. Yep. Crazy. So, Oscar, how many shows are you going to apply for this year?
Same amount that I always do. 20. I apply to 30 plus shows, and then hopefully I do 20 to 24.
Okay. Have any of you guys heard of what is it? Art Fest Bethel in St. Pete?
No.
No.
Well, give me the name again.
It's Bethel Temple.
Yeah,
Bethel.
I'm doing that.
Oh, temple shows.
Yeah.
Temple shows could be very good
Or
I just
not.
heard that on the Independent
because they promote,
podcast.
they advertise them to their congregation.
Interesting. I wonder how Abstract does.
Yeah.
So from what I heard.
Teresa,
But it's not like a regular thing. They only take you 4 or 5 pieces of you and they put it up on the wall and see what happens.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Teresa made a good point before everybody came. She did an indoor show this past week, and their space was the first space where people come in. And the crowds came in so fast that they totally missed them.
Really?
That's what having a strong personality does for you. You make sure that they stop at your booth.
Yeah.
If she couldn't, they were backed up out the door trying to get in.
So, question: you said the Independent Actors podcast came out today?
Yeah. Yep. Actually, it came out yesterday, but I listened to it today.
I didn't put it on YouTube. Interesting.
Oscar,
No, I didn't see it on YouTube. I just got it off of my Apple Podcast.
Oscar, Did you
Yeah,
say you're doing the Temple Bethel thing at St. Pete's this year?
yeah,
You are? Have you done it before?
no. That's one of the things that came out from Park City. So,
They came out to Park City and
yep,
recruited you?
yep,
Really?
yep. I'm that special, Barry.
You're not that special, Oscar.
I am.
But I'm not going to tell you why. At least when we talk about the fact that we both got into Fort Worth later tonight, then I'll tell you what I mean.
Oh God.
Oh, come on now. Don't leave us hanging here.
No, what I have to say is not for public consumption.
Hey, buddy.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
All right. Well,
Let me
the
see subscription. I was looking for it, and I did. I was really looking forward for that, and they did this clown didn't put it in there. Going to make me go to the podcast and listen in over there. So what? It was good.
You
How good
talking to
it was
me?
to, yeah, no. I keep forgetting his name.
Roy.
Roy.
Hey,
How good it was the podcast.
how good was it?
Yeah.
It was pretty good. They talked about uh they kind of bounce around all the places. Will said he's going to go. He's thinking about doing Temple Bethel, and um, he's going to go down to Coconut Grove. Douglas said he was going to. I think he said he applied to Bonita Springs, and
But did they interview Chris and Laura?
no, I think they're going to do that next show.
Okay, that's why. That's from last week, actually.
Yeah, this one was released. I think it was released November 4th, so just right before
The election, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
that's all I going like a they that was going like a, that's what I was they released it already.
Yep. Okay, I got you. Yep.
No.
No. But they're gonna do Chris and did you say Laura?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, they're gonna do that next one. So
Which I also know they are here in Chicago. They own the gallery.
yes, that's right.
Yeah. Douglas is doing Coconut Grove,
Yep.
Naples, National, and
That's at
then
Naples.
Gasparilla.
That's right. Naples. And that's right, Gasparilla. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we did Gasparilla last year before. We didn't sell a damn thing. I think we were
Oh, it has to be better than Bonita 3. That's the only thing I know.
I got you.
Yeah, but at Gasparilla, you don't have to sell anything. All you got to do is win an award.
That's right.
That's true, but we didn't even win the award.
Well, that's because your work is too normal.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Hey, Court, put your finger over the camera for a second. Oh my God. Where the hell you got that from?
That's an Oz quote.
That is from Greensburg, Kansas. That was in the co-op at the grain elevator on the receptionist desk.
I have flying monkeys and I'm not afraid of using them.
Nice. Okay.
The one I really wanted to put up, but I couldn't find the original of it is I've got a bunch of disconnected files in my Lightroom catalog. It's a little hand lettered sign sitting on top of a light switch that says ignorant assholes not permitted.
God, I'd like that for my booth. For my booth.
You cannot put that in your booth.
Of
You
course
cannot
not.
put you cannot put anything negative in the booth.
Of
Anything,
course not. I just thought it was funny.
even you know, even the sign that I put. Well, I don't have no choice now. Uh,
Do not touch.
yeah, later Musha told me you need to have the sign up.
You know, I used to put a sign that said touch with eyes only. Okay, touch with eyes only, meaning just look.
Mm.
And there'd always be dumbasses that would lean
Of,
down and try and
of
try and
course.
blink on the piece. I mean, it's like it's not even funny.
No, to me it was more like they told me that I need to put the sign because if something happens, at least they know that it was not me, not being that I did everything that I could to avoid problems.
But
So
that's a negative. Do not touch is a negative.
I
You just
know,
said don't put it,
but
dude. Yeah.
if something happens, if I don't have it up, then Libre Mutual doesn't cover me.
They probably won't cover you anyway.
No, they will. They are really good. When they broke into my band, they sent me a check in 2 weeks. Which, quite honest with you, that reminds me I need to do the insurance for Coconut Grove and Fort Myers.
Well, we didn't get into Coconut Grove, and we're on the wait list for Artie Gras. Waiting on Artisphere, waiting on Fort Worth. Couple of others I can't remember.
Well, guys, I'm going to let you go because I need to grab something to eat before I get to my financial meeting that I have at 5 o'clock. And
All
then
right.
7 o'clock is yours, right?
Yeah. No.
6:30.
30.
That's Central Time, 6:30.
Yeah.
6:30 Central Time.
Okay. I will talk to you guys later. Good luck to everybody.
So
I have to go.
7:30 our time.
I have to go finish putting handles on my mugs.
All
I
right.
only going to
I
take you
have to
2
go
minutes.
take my hand truck out to the street and see if I can bring
Although-
in a Red Bull.
Although
All right.
I do
Use
have
your
a
knees.
question before everybody leaves. Why do Japanese mugs don't have handles?
You're supposed to hold it above the level of the filling in it. You're not supposed to fill it to the top. You're only supposed to fill them about 2/3 to 3/4 away, just enough to hold up there.
Nice answer, but not the right one. Anybody else?
What is it? I don't know.
True.
Okay. If it's too hot to handle, if you can't pick it up because it's too hot to drink.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no handles
Yeah.
on mugs because if you can pick it up, it's cool enough to drink. Anyway, that's
Well,
my
you know what?
trivia.
The people make fun of me when I go to Starbucks and because I always ask the coffee to be 130 degrees for the lattes.
I do 145.
And people always ask me why I do that, and I tell them because that's the temperature I can drink it right now.
That's exactly right.
There you go.
I tell them 145.
Yeah.
Nothing like putting ice in your coffee.
Oh, it
Exactly.
ruined the taste. I'm sorry.
It dilutes the coffee too.
Yeah, it makes it look like crap.
See,
Yeah.
I make it, put them in Snapple bottles and put them in the refrigerator.
Oh,
So
like cold brew.
They're iced coffee without
Yep.
having to add anything.
Well, but that's different. If you make it, I think that you can make the coffee regular and then just put it in to cool off and drink it cold. It's different than adding ice to it. I just don't like to add ice to the coffee.
And if you put it into a ice cube tray and with a stick in it and put it in the freezer, then you can then it'll freeze and you can have it on the stick. Coffee.
Right.
Coffee pop.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just
Yeah.
that was
Okay,
pretty
All right,
guys.
man. I'm
Same
outta
for
here.
you,
Good.
Mark.
Bye.
all
All right.
later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks again, Larry. Y'all have a good evening.
All right.
Bye-bye.